Hey guys, and welcome to today's coffee chat on Dark Blue Nutrition. I wanted to do a little bit of something different today because I know I do a lot of very structured and like 5 tips to do this videos, but I wanted to do something especially for those of you in the dark blue community who want to go a little more personal and in depth on a topic and just go a little more candid, if you will. I'm sure many of you can understand loving like the structure and being the type A person, but sometimes I just kind of want to go a little more chill and just chat with you guys. So let's get into today's topic. I want to talk a little bit about what can be holding you back from mindful eating. One of the biggest things that I've personally struggled with when it comes to my mindfulness journey is being super harsh and judgmental of myself when it comes to where I should be and what I think my results should be from whatever goal that I have. So in this case, I feel like if mindful eating is the goal, then I should always be mindful, be in the moment, not be in my own head, either when I'm eating or otherwise when I'm with friends and family. And then I get really harsh on myself and it ends up being super counterintuitive to my progress. And let me know if you have ever felt the same way or if you're your own worst critic, because I feel like I definitely can't be alone on this. This is a similar setback point for me with anxiety too. As some of you may know, I've had really bad anxiety since I can remember, and one of the best things that I've done for my anxiety is to not be judgmental of it and to not try to resist it. So I feel like this concept really relates to a lot of different things in your life. If you're not interested in mindful eating, or if you've never had anxiety or experienced it, maybe you have something else that you can apply this to. Where are you being harsh or judgmental of yourself in your life? And what are some ways that you could like overcome that? I hate to make it sound so easy because it's one of the most difficult things that I've ever had to do in my life. That sounds terrible because this should be something that's so easy for all of us to do. Just not be harsh or judgmental of ourselves, but it's really not. I think it depends on like what kind of upbringing you've had, what kind of friend groups you've been in, what you've been exposed to as a child, what maybe generation you're from, if it's baby boomers, if it's millennials, Gen Z, Gen whatever. I think it depends on a lot of different things how we respond to stimulus. And I used to be a big journaler, but nowadays I feel like, especially with all that I do content creation, I work for a company remotely, so I do a lot of texting all day long. And of course, I try to stay connected with friends and family. And so I feel like I'm less prone to journaling because I'm typing so much all the time. And I'm sure even if you don't work from home, you can probably relate to that too. So if electronic journaling is not your thing, or if you don't want to write it out and journal your thoughts about this topic, about judgment and how you can maybe reframe some of those judgments, I have a few ideas that have worked for me that I just want to like throw out there. One is that I will do like mini journal entries. I think sometimes we picture journaling as being like super duper in depth and like writing a novel, when it doesn't have to be that way. Maybe in some moments you catch yourself being down on yourself, being harsh on yourself, maybe for not following your mindful eating journey perfectly, or your health journey, or your anxiety coping journey perfectly. Catch yourself in that moment and you can just type out the thoughts that you have and then try to change them. So for example, for me, I would say I'm doing better with mindful eating right now and less great with anxiety. So anxiety is where I do a lot of my reframing in this moment, but you can apply this to whatever you find it helpful to apply to. For example, I would get invited to go out, and when I got that invite, the first thing that I would think is, what if I do this? What if I have a panic attack while I'm there? What if I embarrass myself while I'm there? What if my car has an issue or breaks down while I'm on the way there and I'm stranded? I had to not only just reframe those thoughts to more positive ones, like what if everything goes right? What if I have fun? What if my car works perfectly fine and I have the time of my life with my friends? I also try to do like the opposite of that negative thought. So for example, if I'm saying what if, and then as a result, I want to not go, I try to just do the opposite and push myself to do what I don't want to do easier said than done, and I've definitely dipped on a lot of social events because of anxiety in the past, so no shame if you do this. But I think it's just about exposing yourself a little bit more than you're comfortable with, more and more. And then like you can always build up. And since I want to apply this topic to mindfulness, mindful eating, healthy habits, and all that stuff, you can apply it something like this. When I had a more negative relationship with food, some of you guys know my history, and I have like a podcast episode about it. I have a YouTube video that's like really old about it, but I had an eating disorder in high school, and I would have so many, like you don't even want to know how many negative thoughts I had about myself on any given day. It was just a constant obsession with negative thoughts. It was terrible, and it was definitely, most definitely an illness. It was plagued every moment of every day that I was on this earth, and it was miserable. And I'll be honest, like in those moments, talking kindly to myself was like the last of my concerns and the last thing that I was going to do for myself. And if I could talk to my high school self and like think of some maybe better coping mechanisms for those thoughts, I think the more that I got into the habit of using other coping mechanisms to help me versus having control over my eating disorder as a form of helping me or coping in that moment, I think I would have healed a lot quicker, and I think I would have gotten out of the toxic relationships that were a part of that sooner. Again, I don't want to simplify having an eating disorder or that you can just will your way out of it. I don't think that's how it works, but maybe just like spewing these thoughts out will help somebody else who's maybe at the later parts of struggling with their relationship with food. No matter where you are on the spectrum, from having like the occasional bad day with your body to having disordered thoughts all the time, maybe this will help. I think one obvious reframe is just telling yourself how valuable you are, how loved you are, and how beautiful you are. No matter what your background is, no matter how you view yourself, I think it's so important to like manifest that energy, to be kind to yourself and to loving yourself. You are who you are. You're inhabiting the body that you're in, and it's gonna be that way for this lifetime. And so it sounds like almost like tough love, and I don't mean it to be like negative, but you have to start accepting yourself exactly the way you are. So I wish I could have accepted myself long ago and reminded myself daily of how much I am thankful for, how much I appreciate myself and my body and all the things that my body does for me. I wish I could tell myself that I was not deserving of negative relationships, wasn't deserving of being told that I was ugly or fat. I wish I could have told myself, screw those people, screw that thought. I'm beautiful, like both on the inside and outside, and I know what I have to offer to this earth, and anyone that tells me otherwise can screw off. Like, I don't know any other way to say it. Long story short, there are so many different ways that I wish I could have approached it when I was younger, and wish I could have like reframed so many of the thoughts that I had, because I don't even think that I knew how toxic those thoughts were for my mental health. I think that I just thought that the harsher I was to myself, like the healthier I would be, or the harsher I was to myself, the better I would be. But it's actually like totally the opposite of what's true. In certain aspects of your life, having critiques here and there, whether it's from yourself or from others, can be a positive thing, but constantly being your worst critic when it comes to a healthy mindset or anxiety or depression or mindful eating or your health journey or any of those things, constantly being harsh to yourself is so counterproductive to where you want to be, where I know you want to be, because I was there too, and I still can be in those headspaces sometimes, and I think all of us always will have those moments where we're in that headspace. The point is that it starts with being aware of actually how toxic this is for your mind. Actually, this year in 2020 was when I had the biggest revelation of how big of an impact this actually had on my life and my relationships and my relationship with myself. I think sometimes the toughest things in life are like the easiest concepts. Like, yeah, of course, like I shouldn't judge myself. Of course I should be mindful of what I eat. Of course I should listen to my body. Of course I should eat when I'm hungry and stop when I'm full. But we don't do those so easily. We have to like take it back a step and recognize that even though these concepts are super simple, we don't always follow them. I wish it were like blissfully simple and easy to make these corrections in your life, but the harsh reality is I know that it's not. It's not easy for me. It never has been easy for me, unfortunately. But with that, I want to like put a positive spin on all this and like make sure that I'm not just conveying that this is all negative. If you can hear Maya snoring, I'm sorry. She's snoring hardcore in the background. But if I can put a positive spin on this, the most difficult things in my life, I think, have made me who I am. And the same goes for you or anyone that you know. The more difficult things you've gone through in your life, whether it be a mental battle, physical illness, anything like that, all of those things, when you overcome them, make you stronger, given that you come out of them and choose to learn something from them. So with that, I think without being really harsh on myself and being really negative to myself, I wouldn't have found it so important to do the opposite and to value myself and to talk highly about myself to myself and to kind of like do those super cheesy things in the mirror where you like amp yourself up and tell yourself you can do something. Like, I would never, ever have made this YouTube channel if I didn't talk myself up constantly. And like, let me tell you, I didn't always believe myself talking to myself to this camera. Not at all. One person I can really thank is Glenn, because he is my partner in crime, my significant other, and means the world to me. And he is like basically like the original reason why I actually went for this YouTube channel and to try to like speak my voice to a camera and put it on the internet, because it was something that I wanted a long time ago. And I just never believed in myself because of all these negative, terrible thoughts that I had about myself. Like I wasn't good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, and all these like limiting beliefs that I had for myself. He taught me how to talk myself up, and he talked me up too, which I think at the time, like, I really needed external validation and internal validation. And he really taught me like some valuable life lessons that like, you don't always believe in yourself, but you can't make what you want happen unless you do. And you got to put in the work and fail and get your knees scraped up to get what you want in life. And so this could be like a totally separate topic, but all of this to say that so many facets of my life were being ruined by judgmental thoughts and thoughts that were holding me back. And I think that if you want to circle it back to mindful eating, healthy eating, your health journey in general, remind yourself of that every single day. If it takes that, maybe like 3 times a day, if it takes that, you need to believe in yourself for any changes to happen. You need to believe in yourself to be internally happy inside. Like, you're never, even if you make all these aesthetic changes, you're healthy, you're muscular, you have everything externally, you're not going to be happy if you're not treating yourself well mentally. And I just want to convey that. I am super long-winded, so I'm gonna apologize right now. And I really thank those of you who stuck around through this whole video just to chat and have like a more casual conversation with me. I think it's just something that I wanted to express and that didn't feel right in a short form, quick and snappy video, you know? Some things are just better talked about genuinely. And not that I don't value my standard format, but I just wanted to talk. So that is that. Let me know how you guys feel about having the occasional video like this and what topics that you'd like to talk about in the future. As you might have noticed, I have my Dark Blue Nutrition mug. I will leave a link to Dark Blue Nutrition merch in the description box down below if you're interested in just having a little way of supporting the channel and also just repping your favorite YouTube channel maybe. We have mugs, we have hoodies, and you'll probably see some of that in the future now that it's a little colder out. I love the hoodies, those are my favorite, but this is a pretty cute mug too, I love it. So if you're interested in that, then check out the links below. And other than that, I will chat with you all in the comment section, and I'll leave some links to videos that you can watch after this. Thanks for chatting with me today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.